Hi, this is Lauren, and I'm in the wood cellar here at New Belgium Brewing Company in Fort Collins, Colorado. We affectionately call it Foeder. And I'm here to talk to you guys about this month's blender project, which is called Foeder Kura. Foeder obviously is one of these guys, these very large format barrels. We call them foeders. And Kura means storehouse in Japanese. And this is a collaboration between New Belgium and Brookyln Kura in Brookyln, New York. Brookyln Kura is a sake brewing company, and we did a really fun and incredibly inventive, innovative collaboration where they brewed this sake that was using the method called Yamahai. And Yamahai, once we were talking to Brandon and Brian at Brookyln Kura, really realized had so many connections to the same kind of method or process of Lambic brewing. It involves using what's called this ring, like a yeast ring, to collect the flora and fauna in their area. And then you take that yeast ring and then you'll actually put it into the fermenter, and that does a spontaneous fermentation start. And that is just like the Lambic process, where in the Lambic region, they will let the flora and fauna kind of come in to the cooled wort, which is kind of the sugar water that starts a brew, and that spontaneous inoculation will start the Lambic process. So when we kind of realized how incredibly close these two methods were, we started thinking about, well, how can we kind of merge their process into our beer making process? And what we came up with is, once they have the ring and they do their fermentation in their sake brewery, they'll kind of ferment all the way out. And at the end of that process, they will separate the yeast and from the sake, and they do this with an actual press. And the press basically will take all the solids and kind of form them into this cake. That cake is called kasu. They then sent that kasu to us, overnighted it to us, and we put it into a yeast prop and then brought into this rice wort. So we then took the rice wort, kind of this nice traditional rice wort, and use the kasu to actually start the fermentation for our beer. And we propped it up a couple times and ended up with a pretty large batch. We then took that fermented kasu rice beer and blended it with a little bit of our sour, golden sour. At the end of that process, we had this really amazingly kind of this juxtapose, this intersection, of sake, white wine, and kind of this nice light Belgian beer. It is somewhere right in the middle of that. And then in order to kind of just finish it with one extra fun ingredient, we got about 10 pounds of Jasmine Pearl tea. And Jasmine Pearl tea is basically like very young green tea leaves that they will actually hand knot into these beautiful pearl balls, these pearls. And then infuse them 5 times with jasmine flowers. So they're super infused and very aromatic. I didn't want that to override that whole process of the beautiful Yamahai kasu fermentation. So instead, we did this at a very low level. It's only meant to like push out a little bit more, accentuate some of the beautiful beer characters. This has been a process that's going on about 2.5 years. It took us to finally get to this spot of fermentation, production, finish, and then we ended up with this beautiful, really delicate, beautiful beer. We then bottle conditioned it and put it into corking cage. I really hope you enjoy it.